Hello everyone, welcome to Keynote Design. I'm Janine and in today's tutorial I show you 3 different ways to create light effects or light illusions or something like that. In this case, this is the light leaks. You learn how to add a light leak in animated, put the transition from on and off and so on and so on. It's very confusing patch, but I think you will have a lot of fun with it. And also we learn how to go to this one, how to add the different lights to your scene, so learn more about the spotlights and so on, and how you can create a reaction to your face. So this is 3D action from the light, how you add the light into your scene. And the last one is the water effect. So in this case you add the illusion of being in a pool or something like that. It's very interesting, and I show you 3 different ways how you can create this effect. So let's start with this big tutorial. Okay, let's start with the light setting. So you learn in this first part how to add different lights to your scene and make a kind of a 3D look to your face, so that the light reacts to your face. So we start with a segmentation. So we have a green background, and the person segmentation will be at first neutral, and we need to add the first rectangle. This is our BG green, and another one. This is our segmentation, and of course fall height and width, and start with the green background and call this BG green, like our layer. And of course we need for this our camera texture extraction and the segmentation too for our segmentation layer here, but we add in our green background the camera texture and add a green to it. And we just need flat. So the background has no reaction to the ambient light or the directional light. Maybe use this ambient light and directional light later for just make the light or the setting a little bit brighter or something like that. So just let it right in here, but I think I don't use it. Maybe. So this is a segmentation. In this case I want to show you how to add an alpha mask in the patch editor. So this looks a little bit better sometimes. So I need the camera texture and the person segmentation for that, and go to the RGBA camera and multiply this information, and we go to alpha and swivel at this. So this is a nice way to add a camera segmentation with the patch editor. And you can play a little bit with it. To be honest, I don't figure it out perfectly. I'm new to this too, but I have the feeling that this patch makes the segmentation a little bit softer or a little bit better than just add it with the alpha mask in your material. And we need this kind of creation for our next step. So we create a face mesh because this layer, the segmentation, we want to add a red light and a blue light on the other side, and make some green light so that is more reflections in the face, but we need a 3D model for that. You see my segmentation is in 2D, so but my face, I want it to be 3D, so the reaction with the light is a little bit more natural. And we create, I just call this mesh, and create a new material, call this also mesh, and we make the same like with our segmentation for our face mesh, but first we add a face tracker to it because we need, like in this tutorial before, there it's a little bit more explained, or whatever, I explain it a little bit more details. So I want to go right through this pretty fast. So we need the face tracker, it's like the camera texture right here, and also need is a mask for the edges, so it's way more softened at the edges. Because what I want to do is to create really like the same with the segmentation, just a mask with the texture of my face on it. So go to this one right here, face mesh mask. You'll find that PNG down below in the description, and it's from Spark AR, the assets that you can download on their website. So the face PNG, and of course the face mesh, and we stay with standard because we want to in reaction with the light later. So go to multiply, and also want this alpha, and go to screen. I think the screen or the add is the right choice, but screen is a little bit more softer. It's way more lighter than the segmentation, but we will fix that later. Or when we add the lights, you won't see the difference so much. And we go to the face tracker texture, and you see this run right here. So go to add the mouth and the eyes, so it's way better. And I think I add segmentation a little bit lighter. Of course, what I forget is to add, when you want a little bit more lighter, you can add a camera text segmentation to it. So don't need that one. It's looks directly more lighter to your whole scene. And now we create the lights. Go to spotlight. I really like the spotlight because it's you have more control about the spotlights. You can also use the direction lights, but I think that the spotlights are perfect when you have more interaction with 3D models, like in this case my mesh I created. And you can go with a range and so on and so on. Can create more with the spotlight. This is the red one, I just don't rename it, and put on the other side a blue one. Just copy and paste this one, and oh, this is I think that this could be a little bit harder, and maybe red. No, really love more the okay, that's why. Oh, and I forget to go to your mesh material and the depth. Okay, and now I have a green background and just want to add light, so it's the illusion that it is, I don't know the English word, but in German you say Spitzlicht, so it's more on your head and directly to the background, and make a little reflection to your face. And I also tried the point light, but I'm really no idea what I can create with that. Okay, whoops. Oh. So that's why I thought I don't need this one, but it's nice to have. And well, this is just the blue and red, and this is with the green light add to it. Maybe just to make it a little bit more dramatic and a little bit smaller. But you have the idea how you can work with the lights. And the second part, we want to create light leaks. So we want to create an animation with light leaks, and I created 4 different light leaks with Photoshop. This one right here. And how I created them, I will link the tutorial down below, and also my reference for the light leak animation too, so you can see the tutorial too. So it's not, I don't created it on my own or the patch on my own, but I want to show you how it works and why. And I add also a retouch to it, so that you want, when you want to recreate this effect, you can add a retouch to the scene as well. At first we need a rectangle for our background or our face. So it's like before, we need our texture extraction, and we keep it simple this time. So camera extraction, go to material, call this camera, I call this background like always, BG2, and we go to flat. There's no interaction with the lights, and camera extraction, just we need the information for our light leaks, so we want to add another rectangle to the scene. This is our light leaks, and we add to this one light leaks our animation, and we go to add in this case. So that's why we needed the BG, our background, or in other words, the camera texture. So we have in information what the blend mode I have to add to. So you can go to add to or multiply or replace. I just use add, go a little bit down with the opacity, so it's not too hard. And we need the patch editor and start with our animation. Go to loop animation, and we need a counter to counter, because we want to switch between these 4 images. So go to from 0 to 4, looped, and select all light leaks and add them to your patch editor. And now we need a switch to our light leaks. It looks a little bit complicated, but there's a reason, because we want to create later a kind of loop animation, a transparency, so the light leak appears and disappears. So we need an equal and an if then else for the first one. First equal equals and if then else, and we need 3 of them, and put these one between those, and right here. So if equals this, then that. If not, go to this one right here. And if this one not, go to this one, and else this one right here. I hope now it's explaining time, right? I understand what I'm done, but I don't know if I can explain it. But if it's 1, then like 2. If it's 2, this one, else the second one. If it's not, then the third one. If that's not, then the last one. So it's questioned will be, so when the pulse will be light through to the first one. And now we have the light leak right here. And I just want to what I forget is I need to make sure this is the first, and yeah, so it's switching between these 4. 1, 2, 3. Great, but we want to make sure that we have a little bit of motion in our light leaks, and later we make the transparency, but we start with the motion. This is our rotation, so we start with a transformation, and we just need the number. We start with 20 and end with 0, and where there will be this in and out. It's not easy sometimes to create new stuff, or 2D transformation pack, and add this to our rotation. Go to a texture transformation, and add this one to our working. Okay, we need to cross switch because this is the information for our texture and this is the information for our rotation. And you see we have a kind of animation, but there is not a loop, so it's just going into one direction, but it doesn't go back. So we go to our counter, and add to this counter, we have to make the forward and back animation. So we need to divide because we need the information forward and back, and divide it by 2 and go to floor and add this one, switch this one between this. What I forget is I need a little while to make sure that is really go back and forth. You need to go to mirrored. I did just look at it. I just looked at this creation and asked myself why it's not working. And of course, you need to make sure that's mirrored. So that's a very important detail in this case. So you're sure it's working. And now we need the last thing is to add the transparency from 1 to 0. So it's from 100% to 0 to from 0 to 100%. So let's add a new transition, and we just like here we just lead and start and an endpoint, and we start with a 0 and with an sorry, we start with the 1 and end with 0. So we start with opacity 100% and end with null, and of course, like in the other case, it's like in and out, so in both directions. And now it's a little bit confusing, because we need the information just for our alpha. So we give the information for our texture. We have right here or here and here. We need the information from our if-else, the RGB, and we need an information from this is the alpha. So go to add a subtract, and this is our alpha subtract, and I know that right here we need this one. I just want to make value and the value 2, and we need to unpack our information from this one right here. So unpack, go to this, that one, and go to vector 4. Because we need the information from our alpha right here. This is just the information of our alpha, what it was before and what we want to set it to. And we need now the texture transformation and unpack them too for our RGB information. So the first 3 values. So unpack RGB, this one is like RGB, and now we need to add this information to our light leak to pack it together, right? Like now, pack. And 4 vectors, so it's like RGB alpha, and we go to this one right here, this one and this one, and subtraction, right, this. So you see this number right here, and add this to our scene so that the light leaks appear and disappear. And at first it's kind of flipping, but it's getting better over time, so it has to find its logic. And so make sure you go to restart, so you haven't this kind of bounce effect, or you have the idea that's not working or something like that. Please make sure you restart the patch, so the information starts from 0 and everything works really fluently. You can add the duration, how you want it right here. So 1 is a little bit faster than 3 in this case. Of course, when you want more the rotation, you can add this one right here, and the rest leave it like that. Yes, this is a very nice light leak, maybe a little bit too much, and maybe not the nicest or smartest design I created, but this is not important right now. But what we want to add now is the retouch, and we have problems with a retouch where when we create the LUTs or something like in this tutorial. And this is we need to create, this is like the same method like in this tutorial right here. We need to create for our retouch some more information. So we go at first start with our layer for our retouch, and of course add a new material to it and retouching, and you see nothing. So when I go and put the visibility off, you see the retouch, but not when this one is on. And that's why we need to extract the information from our camera texture or face tracker in this case. So we add it, so it's the retouch will be applied to it. Go and add another face mesh, and it's down below. Add and call this one BG mesh. So this is the information, or exactly the same information like in this one. I go to material and name this one BG mesh, and go to flat because we have no interaction with lights in this case. That makes a little bit, it makes more easily, of course. So we need in face tracker texture from here. Go to your material, BG mesh, and add the face tracker to it. And now you see the information, and alpha is alright. Go to eyes, and now you see it's a little bit darker. It's because we have to add the light leak too, but first we need to make the edges a little bit softer. So go to add the face mesh mask like in the first tutorial, and we just add it like an alpha mask. Alpha, hello. So it's way more softened, but you see when the light leak doesn't react to our face mesh. At first we start with the use depth test, and now we need another face mesh. This is our light leak mesh. Boop. Material, new material, light leak mesh. Of course, flat, and add the texture. Oh, and this one too. Oh, and what I forget, no compression. So, okay, the material, light leak mesh, go to the texture, just add the light leak mesh also to the unpack, so you have the information right here. And what you want to do now is the information of our light leaks here. So we have the blend mode add, and we create 30% of opacity, and we add the same information to our face mesh. And now I know what I have forgot, so yeah, now it's working. Because what I forgot is I forgot to add the alpha mask to the scene, so that's why this looks a little bit weird. So, but now you can go wild with the retouching. And at the retouch, you have this little problem with the alpha, with the screen, with the nose, also with the mesh here, but I think it's okay. But now you have the a nice retouch added to your scene. Okay. Wonderful. So let's get to the last tutorial today. Okay, in this last tutorial I show you how to add these nice water look, or I saw this one in some filter in Instagram, some Instagram filter with this nice effect of water of floating, or water lights floating over your face or something like that. And I created, I need to show you that. This one is a simple fractal noise. Sorry, it's in German, I know. But I just created a loop of 3 seconds. See right here, and I want to add this as a PNG animation sequence to my scene in Spark AR. So let's start with a new animation sequence. So this is our water effect. Let's call it like water effect sequence, and add our textures to it. So go to water PNG, water effect, and make sure when you create this effect, you can also use this one, I will link it down below. Make sure you don't add more frames than I think 150, I'm not sure, but there's a limit. Okay, we added the water effect. Now we need to create, and like in the tutorial before with the light leaks, we need 2 informations. Like in every tutorial right now about lights, we need the reflection of our face, and I think I need just 1 rectangle. I have to watch it right here. No, I start with 1 rectangle with the information from our camera, so camera texture, and but I will show you 3 different ways how you can create filters with this animation sequence. So let's start with a rectangle, and of course, boop, boop, And what I forget, I just want to make sure that the compression, there's no compression. And go to new material, and this is of course our background, so BG. And you can go to your background, go to camera texture, yes, and go to spectacular and add the animation texture to it. No, not a new animation texture, sorry. Once again, this one. And this is the easiest way to work with this effect. So you have just one layer and go to, okay, this spectacular, and you have the effect right over your face. Yay. And now I want to add, of course, a retouch to it. From go to at first retouch, and we need to add to the retouch. This is our retouch. And there is no retouch, like every time. You see the retouch right here, but when I go visibility on, the retouch disappear, and we add a new face mesh. Okay. BG mesh. Go to material, add a new one, and I want to create this effect when I move my head out, that it's like I dip my face out of the water or something like that. So call this one just, yeah, not its face. Okay. Go to the material, and we need to add the texture, face texture, mesh, and add the face texture to it, and go to flat. And like every single time, and in this case I want the eyes, and that looks a little bit weird right now, but the mouth. Of course, you can also add like every single time face mesh mask to it, so that the alpha, so it looks a little bit more realistic also in this case. This is not so pretty, but I think that's okay when you're not just open your mouth like that. But just to show you, retouch can of course also add, this is the BG with this blue. Go to this one. This is the information from it. Okay, but you can add this information also to your face. When you want to add these information, so you need another face mesh for these lines. Add a new material, create a new one. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit lazy with the renaming, I know. Water sequence. And go to add. This looks nice. Wait. Before I explain too much. It's important that you make this face mesh before. So, because when you put the visibility off, you have two different, you have the information from our background add to your face mesh with the water effect, and also the water effect, so it's a little bit too confusing. So make sure you add this face mesh to your scene. Okay, you see this is a little bit lighter, so it's, in this case, it's better when you also create a new water effect right here and put the spatula out. So this one is off. And add the material, add a new material, of course. Create new material and add to this material our water effect and go to, I added alpha, right? Did I add alpha? This is material, screen. And go to this one too and go to flat, because in this case you don't need, when you add this like this one, you don't need to add the standard. So thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and thank you so much for your inspiration and your time. And yes, when you have questions, please leave me a comment or send me a DM via at Design via Instagram. And of course, when you like this tutorial and see more of it, subscribe to this channel and leave a thumbs up and share it with your friends who wants to see this. And yes, see you next time. Enjoy the process. Bye bye.